Hi, Bestie. Yes. Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Oh, perfectly. Everyone, this is my bestie. We have been friends for a long time, probably 27 years,
More
oh,
than that, I would say, right?
30.
I would say at least, yeah, 30, 31. Yeah,
That's a long freaking time.
it's a long time.
So I asked my best friend Heather here to answer some questions about our friendship, and she agreed, which I was shocked about because she's not a YouTube social media person at all. So
No.
I'm very honored that you decided to do this for me.
Well, I'm honored to be your guest, darling.
I remember when I first started doing YouTube, you said it was a sickness.
That sounds about right.
So now look at me. We've got over 5,000 followers, hoping to grow. That's not very many in the YouTube world, just letting you know, but it's
Yes.
something.
Hey, you know what? I'm about quality over quantity anyhow. So if you have 5,000 quality followers, it's better than 100,000 not quality followers.
So yes, well, thank you. So the first question I think was what did you think when you first saw me? And that was in school, first grade.
Mm-hmm. Well, we sort of, well, no, I think we first met in kindergarten, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah. I mean, we had played from time to time, as large groups in kindergarten and all of that. But yeah, I think first grade was when our friendship really started to flourish and bloom and develop. Um, I will never forget because you were absolutely adorable. You were just so cute in your wheelchair. You had your tray and your aide, which I'm embarrassed to say I only know her nickname now. I can't remember her real Ginny. That's right, but we used to call her Sergeant.
Yes. We're not gonna say what, but
yeah.
Yes.
So, but she was awesome. But anyway, she was there with you, and you had all these tiny little miniature things on your tray. Little balls you were like squeezing, little squeezy things, and the little tiny dice. And I was so attracted to how cute you were with all these little miniature things. I just loved it, and I wanted to check them out. So me, no fear, went right up to you. Hey, can I play with those? And I probably asked you to have one. I probably said, well, can I have some of these? Can I take it home? And you probably very kindly said, I'm going to keep these, but thank you.
I don't remember any of that, but
Yep. That I will never forget it. In the little foyer out there, the little courtyard,
yes,
right doors where you would sit during recess. Yeah.
I
And
remember that.
I was mesmerized. I thought it was so cool that you had all these little tiny miniatures and they just looked so fun.
And so from first grade, we kind of started a friendship, but then I don't feel like it continued in second and third grade. I feel like we weren't close then.
Yeah, and I think honestly, like thinking back to those school age years, Bestie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like during those years, you almost only hang out with the people in your class.
Yeah.
Right. So we're not in the same class,
Yes.
which we did it. We were in Latimer together.
Yes.
And so that was, we got to spend more time with each other. But then second and even third, we weren't in the same class together. So it wasn't until probably when we went to ride out for fourth and 5th that we really started hanging out more.
And we were in, well, go ahead.
Of course, I did come over for a sleepover in first grade And that is the, the moment your mom remembers for life, where
Yes.
I cried in the middle of the night and said, I want my mommy.
Yep. I'll
And
never
your mom
forget it.
to come pick me up.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was crazy. And then, so 5th grade is when we really got close, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember. That's very accurate.
And if I'm going to
Well,
look back at
what?
my,
You were my first sleepover, Bestie, in first grade. You were my very first sleepover.
I'm honored.
Yeah. So that, it was the first time I'd ever left my parents for the night. So I think I did pretty good lasting as long as I did.
I think you did too. I think you did too. Let's see. I'm just following back to my questions here.
Yes.
Um, did you ever think that I would find, this is fast forward now. Did you
Fast
ever
forward.
think that I would find a significant other?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Yeah. I knew you would.
I
You
didn't.
really?
Who
Well,
knew that?
you never had the greatest confidence in yourself. Never. Never. But I knew you. You are such a loving spirit. I knew that, you know, um, someone special would come your way. But of course, it definitely has to be an extra special person, which we should all be looking for an extra special person. But, for you, because you are so delicate and gentle, not everybody is capable of being that way. You know what I mean?
That's true. No, I really, and that's what part of why I started this channel with Angie is that I didn't think that I would really find someone to settle down with. I wanted to. You knew we always talked about it
Oh yeah. Yeah. But
constantly.
but it was always a boy.
It was always a boy.
It was always a boy.
Yes. But,
Mhm.
things changed.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, were you accepting of me coming out? And
Of
what were your thoughts when I did?
I mean, I thought everybody has their own path,
I think you were a little freaked out.
I honestly don't remember. I don't remember feeling freaked out. I don't think I was. Not really. I don't really get freaked out. The only time I get freaked out is like life or death, like surgery, health. That's the only time I get freaked out. But, and I mean, particularly with you, because obviously, historically, things don't always go as they should. And, people don't always take into consideration how much more delicate and personally catered your medical treatment needs to be, unless there are people that are used to working with people that have osteogenesis imperfecta. But no, I don't remember being freaked out. I mean, I remember thinking that was a better choice for you sexually, first off. Just being, just having dated men my whole life, I just thought, they're not for everybody.
They're not. I mean, no
They're not.
offense to men, but there's some amazing men out
Oh,
there. But
yeah, that's being one of them. But and your dad, a lot of great men in the world. Um, but absolutely, I thought it was a better choice for you in a lot of ways. Um, I mean, of course, Angie has completely exceeded my expectations as far as the quality of partner that you found. You had some less than optimal people in the past that you dated and spent time with, that I felt like, they didn't bring the best out of you. And, that's what dating is. You find out what you like and what you don't like, and you see how your relationship with another human can synergize, you know, your best qualities versus dampen them.
mm-hmm.
Angie's definitely been such a blessing, and really just the perfect woman for you, the perfect match for your personality.
She really is.
She is. She's
And
such a love. She's so gentle and caring and thoughtful and warm and accepting and very understanding and oh yeah, I mean she's just wonderful.
I wish you could not get to know her better. Unfortunately, we live so far away from each other and maybe even farther soon.
I know. Right? Well, but the good thing is we'll be more mobile and we'll be traveling and we can actually get to you a lot easier now with our own little house as having the RV, then we don't have to be an imposition and
Did you ever have any suspicions that I might be into women before?
no, 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 I had none. You were always boy crazy. Oh, I mean, you were like crazy about boys when we were young. But a lot of times actually it was intangible, like movie stars, singers, Justin Timberlake, Leonardo DiCaprio, those people that again, so maybe that should have signaled to
Yeah.
me. No, I mean, you were always boy crazy. So we were just boy crazy together.
So then it must have been a little bit of a shock to you when I told you.
I mean, yes and no. I'm trying to really like bring bring that memory forward, but it's not even a significant memory and you think it would be. So I must not have been that surprised because I felt like it was a very natural coming out for me and you to have that discussion. And I seriously thought for your future and your lifestyle that it may have even been a choice. I think that's what I thought in my mind at the time. I felt like, okay, maybe she's choosing to have a feminine partner because for what you need in your future, a female partner is just going to meet those needs and demands more so than a male. So I honestly thought you were kind of shifting your own brain towards that.
That's
Like,
interesting.
but I guess that wasn't true
I
from what
don't
you.
think that's true.
No, you had mentioned that you had feelings for girls in the past when you were younger, but just didn't articulate those feelings.
Well, I was afraid to. And, back when we were growing up, even at our high school, there was no resources for the
No.
queer community, nothing.
Yeah. Right.
And
Right.
I wish there had been because maybe I would have figured it out and been more comfortable with it a lot sooner.
Yeah. True. True.
I mean, there was a few gay people in our school that really weren't out in high school. At least I didn't know that they were.
No, yeah. I mean, we of course had our suspicions about those people. They were mutual friends of ours. And we were I mean, we loved them just the same, but sure, I mean, we didn't discuss it because, obviously high school is such an emotionally charged time in your life, so having feelings that differ from other humans is quite difficult to face.
Mm-hmm. And high school was a difficult time for me already.
Yes, high
I,
school was quite difficult for you. I think that for me, when I look back at that chapter, I feel like that was the loneliest chapter for you.
it was.
Yeah,
It
very
really was.
years. And really it was like you and Wendy, and God bless Wendy. What a saint she was. I mean, she was, she ended up extending herself to, be more than just your caregiver. I mean, she was such a great support person for you.
It was. And I wish that, I had you more around back then, but you had to do your own exploring of yourself and, you know,
Yeah,
take that self exploration time for you
absolutely.
without me.
Well, I think it was it was kind of a jump off of a very difficult time for us in middle school where we had a bit of a falling out. And that just kind of tailed into high school. Oh, but I remember feeling the same, Bestie. I also felt like high school was a very lonely time for me. So even though you and I weren't spending as much time together, we were both kind of in a silo. We were both kind of experiencing high school on two different wavelengths, but I think equally lonely in our own way.
And looking at you from my view back then, I didn't see that. I saw you always had a friend, arm to arm. You were dating, you were cheerleading, you were doing all the things.
Yeah,
And it didn't look that way from the
right.
outside.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so interesting about humans is we do a very good job of not,
Masking,
huh? Of masking,
masking.
yes, of masking, of hiding, of pretending, of, you know, not really coming to terms with our own feelings.
And I didn't know that you felt that way. I mean, we talked about it recently, but I didn't know that you felt lonely in high school.
Yes, very much. Very much. Yeah.
I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you. I mean, I would have been there for you if, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, the circumstances just they weren't ideal for either of us because honestly, we needed each other, right? We
we
needed
did.
each other. We would have been probably a lot better off and a lot less lonely if we would have had each other. But, I was such an aggressive friend that, that led to our falling out, right? Because you were trying, as you always do, trying to keep everyone happy, trying to appease and balance, which is a good thing. You were always very balanced in comparison to me. So, you really were trying for that. And then, I was a very aggressive friend, and other friends were, just a little bit more territorial. And, we just ended up just kind of going our separate ways for some time. But
But then we found our way back to each other.
yeah, I think that's what's always been beautiful about our friendship and our relationship is that what we have is just it's timeless, and it's really just it's in our hearts, and you can't fight what's in your heart. You can pretend all you want, but you can ignore it, but it's in your heart still. You know what I mean? Just kind of like your feelings of being attracted to women, right? If it was always in your heart but you were fighting it for a long time, and maybe that's why you were so boy crazy, right?
Mm,
You were compensating in a way because
yeah,
you want to let your feelings show,
that's right.
but I mean, just an assumption.
Um, so how has having a lifelong friend with a physical disability changed your outlook on life, or has it?
Oh, incredibly. You have been a major, you and your whole family, honestly. Um, but obviously you in the center of that have really influenced my life from day one. I mean, I think that you honestly helped me channel one of my most challenging personality traits um, into something good, because I really, as a young person, how do I word this? I mean, I always knew that I had powers that could be used for good versus evil, right? So instead of, for example, becoming a bully, I ended up becoming a bully to other bullies. And I know that you sparked that in me because I saw so many of the challenges and hurdles that you overcame dealing with a disability, that I saw other children suffering through their own process of a disability that may not even be easily recognizable, right? And some were easily recognizable, but for whatever reason, I just knew that I could be that champion, that I could use my lack of fear of communication and public interaction to, in a way, protect and help those who didn't feel that same power within them. So I know that our relationship and my time with you and learning about your challenges and learning about your perspective as somebody who was dealing with a disability, a physical disability, and not a mental disability, which is a huge difference. It was life changing and really set me up for my future, which is what I do now. Take care of people in their weakest moments, and surgery, when their greatest fear is pain, suffering, life and death. I mean, these are the things that people think about before they go under anesthesia for surgery.
I can attest to that. I've been there.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
So it certainly set me up for that path. I've always had that desire inside me, but it could have easily gone to a less successful path. And so I know my time with you helped me really understand just the value of somebody else's perspective, and the value that each human being, regardless of the conditions, has their own perspective.
We all do. Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. This is the last question,
Wow.
surprisingly. Do you have a fond memory or story about me or about us that you would like to share? Or even better yet, do you have a question for me?
Oh, I have far too many fond memories with you. I mean, we had so many wonderful, wonderful moments together. I mean, really, you were a big part of my childhood. Your family was a big part of my childhood. I mean, I would spend, as you remember, days at your house. I mean, I would live at your house temporarily.
Yep.
So your poor parents, that you have the greatest family in the whole world. Your parents always loved me and
They
cherished
do.
me, even though I was a wild little one. But they always built me up and made me feel welcome and made me feel loved. And your mom poured so much TLC down our throats with her home cooked meals and her beauty, and your father with his laugh. And I mean, your brother, your family's just wonderful. But I think our addiction to miniatures is probably my fondest memory, because we loved miniatures.
Yes.
And Larry, your father, I just thank our lucky stars that he was such a great dad and always willing to take us to our weekend Reno trips to go to the
Yep.
miniature store, because we had to
Yep.
drive an hour just to get to our miniature shop, and we would just be
He would
mesmerized.
spend hours in there.
He was so tolerant. I mean, now as a parent,
Right?
reflection of that dedication, I mean,
Yeah.
Larry is a gem. I just don't know how he did it.
I
He
don't
and
know either.
took us to, Chinese food, or in all these places we wanted to go, and always just let us enjoy and never intruded. And, like you
Yes.
said, spend hours in there, and he would encourage it. He would be like, "This is great. Go ahead."
Yep. I remember so well, so fondly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say one of my favorite memories of us is us cooking on the floor, making pomodoro sauce and spaghetti.
Oh yeah. Right. Our favorite.
Yep.
And we would always beg your mom, pasta. What do we want? Pasta, pasta,
Yep.
pasta, pasta.
That's all still I want.
Yes. So that was fun. Yeah. And you got involved, and yeah, we would
Yes.
make it on the floor, didn't we?
We did.
That
I
was
would lay
funny.
down and I would you would help me cut up all the tomatoes and ask me how much of this to put in or that. And yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And then I broke one of your mom's plates eating pasta today.
I
I was,
barely remember that, but I do.
and then I saw it on your finger
Yep.
and your little finger. Oh, it was terrible. Terrible. That took me a while to forgive myself because I was a first grader. So I
Things
just felt,
happen though.
I know, but I remember crying and crying and crying when I got home to my mom. And my mom, she's such a love. She's so sweet. And she said, "Oh, honey, you did your best. You can just, all you can do is keep telling her you love her and that you're sorry." And so, yeah, you never held a grudge.
I never
But
do.
no, you don't. But boy, I was worked up. I thought, oh my gosh, I hurt my bestie. I hurt my bestie.
Do you remember when we went to Contempo and we had the same tank top?
Yes. Yes.
You still have it?
No, no.
I did at the old house. It's gone now.
I got lost in the
It still
fire.
fit me.
Oh, of course. Well, mine didn't fit me. Yeah. No. I definitely got bigger. But yes, I do. I do. I could pull out 10,000 little memories. I mean, all the funny things we used to say to each other. Yep.
Oh,
And we
Bestie.
saw Titanic over and over again in theater.
At least 3 times.
Yeah, together. I mean, I know I saw it like 7 or 8 times in theater, and half of those were with you. So, I mean, it was too much. But I do have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
So, how did you think that I was going to take your news that you were going to, pursue a life with a female partner? And how nervous were you to tell me?
I was nervous to tell you because I think for a while I kind of liked you in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want that to push our friend, push you away from me.
Sure. But you thought it
So,
might?
well, you never really been around gay people, or you know I didn't know how you would feel. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, I was a little worried.
Yeah. Oh, that breaks my heart. I'm sorry. I mean, absolutely normal. And I would anticipate that most people feel that way when they're coming out, like with any type of news, but particularly their sexual preference, because it is such a, I don't know if the word taboo works anymore, or the word, you know, unique, or I don't know what the word is, but because it's not mainstream, right? It's not the traditional approach, right? A lot of people feel, um, yeah, like they might not be accepted. And apparently there are a lot of people that lose friends and family members when they divulge their feelings and preferences,
Oh, it
which,
happens all the time still to this day.
yeah,
There's still hate crimes and murders and all kinds of shitty things that happen.
and that's just awful. I mean, it just breaks my heart that that would ever be the case. But no, I do not remember having any negative thoughts or feelings about that time when you let me know. And again, I remember feeling like this is optimal, I believe, for your future with a partner. um you know
And you
I just,
never had any doubts that I would find somebody.
oh no, I knew you would find somebody. You are just, you're too bright of a light, bestie. I mean, you shine. There's no way anyone's gonna ignore that values that type of existence. And you know there came Angie.
There she is.
people valued that brightness, but again, I felt like they almost put shade on your brightness, on how you would normally shine. And so, but not Angie. No, I feel like Angie lifts you higher,
She
and
does.
so yeah, she does. She does, which is awesome. And that's
Um,
all you can for. And I'm glad you guys chose to have a dog baby, because I think, Adam is a great adjunct to your relationship, and far less taxing than if you would
and
have
humans.
gone down the road of having a human. Yes, although gosh, you guys would have such a cute little offspring, but it's certainly a totally different endeavor, and it's not for everybody. It really isn't. And
It's
it's all
not. And women that choose not to have kids, they get a lot of shade too.
totally.
There is.
Oh, Bestie, I get shade for only having girls, that I stopped and I didn't continue to try and, have a
Really?
male. Oh gosh, yes. Oh yeah. Yes, people are very critical of that. I mean, because in many cultures, and I don't think the American culture is outside of that box either, honestly. I mean, a lot of people talk about it and focus on other cultures, but I think it's pervasive in all cultures that males are held at a higher, I don't know if higher is the right word, but they're just prized in a different way. And I feel like that some people just, they find it almost, it's hard to articulate, but I don't know. Yeah, they always seem shocked that I'm not trying for the boy, especially when they find out, that my partner is Asian, is Korean. And many of the Asian cultures are, you know, very forthcoming or transparent about the fact that boys are, you know, ideally your first child is a boy in many of those cultures. And it's very highly praised when you do have when your first child is a boy. And so I think there was a lot of pressure on that end too. Not from my in-laws at all. They've always been very supportive and loving, and grateful just to have any grandchildren at all. But certainly other acquaintances and friends, would make comments like, "Oh, really? You're not going to try for a boy? Wow, that's surprising. Oh, how is your husband's family taking that?" And I'm like, they're very supportive. They love the two granddaughters that they have.
Mhm.
So, they're excited. They're happy. I mean, I think grandparents want as many grandkids as they can have, for the most part.
Unless
Um,
you're my mom.
yeah, no, Deb doesn't want.
No,
She
I
likes the
don't
fur
care.
baby. She's
What?
happy. She's happy with the fur baby.
Yes.
With Yeah. Well, I know she would be so grateful if she had, a couple grandchildren. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's a lot of work. So I think it certainly seems more enjoyable to be a grandparent because you can give the kids back when they're
Right.
not eating properly. And that's most of the time in my house. Um, but I know my mom is very grateful for grandkids, and she's definitely enjoying it more than I feel like maybe she got to enjoy having kids of her own.
Hmm.
Because, as parents, we are, especially like a career mother, you know working in anesthesia and having that lifestyle where, I mean, when we first started and had Taylor, I mean, you remember I was on call at the hospital where I had to stay in house at the hospital for days. So it would be 2 days straight that I wouldn't be home with my baby, and my mom would bring her to the hospital to pick up my breast milk and all of that, and sometimes just give me a few minutes to cuddle with her and feed her. But yeah, it was very taxing and very difficult. So I think a lot of times as parents, we don't really get to enjoy our own kids as much because we're, trying to provide for our families. We're working and all of those things. So as a grandparent, you have a little bit maybe slower pace, and you can put a little bit more time into, you know, being just free and loose with your grandkids. So
That's true.
yeah,
I
but for
had
being
I had no idea about people giving you crap about not having a boy.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
just makes me mad. It's like,
I know,
I
right?
don't know, just stereotypes and gender. It's like, why does it matter? I don't know. I
You
get
know,
why. I get the yeah, but
yeah, I mean, I honestly, when I look back at the idea or the concept of boys being highly praised, I really do feel like historically there was a purpose, and that was that, you know, you wanted a child, the hardier the child, the better for survival, to carry on your name, right? So the boys would carry on the name. So there were a lot of things that, you know, we were kind of viewed, the female sex, as weaker, and there were many reasons, I mean, so many reasons historically, but that was certainly a main concept that I seem to ruminate on when I think about that. So I just learned how to not take offense to it. But oh yeah, it still happens to this day. People be like, "Oh, only two girls. Oh, okay. You didn't want any more? You didn't want to try for the boy?" And I was like, "Listen, I would love to have a boy, but you know, two children were in the cards for me, and that's where I knew I had to draw the line." Um, I always tell my kids that I only have two arms to grab two kids. So a third child would end up getting, you know, I don't know what would happen.
yeah.
So I just knew that two was the right number for me. Um, and I'm very happy with my choice, and I love my girls, and
And they're healthy for the most part,
oh, they're
you
so
know.
healthy. We are blessed with two healthy girls. I mean, they are extremely healthy. Extremely. I mean, of course, you know, none of us are we're humans, so we get things, and yeah, they got a little stomach bug recently, but for the most part, excuse me. Um hopefully you cut that out, okay? But we, Jesus Christ, I'm here burping and stuff. Uh
Oh, I burp all the time. I probably
my
burp
butt
in my videos too.
my butt is going numb. Oh, I'm sitting on it. But yeah, no, I'm very happy with the family that I have. I'm very blessed. They're healthy, they're, you know, they're intelligent and fun, and yeah, it's such an experience to be a parent. It's crazy.
Well, we should probably end this before it ends it on its own because I only have 40 minutes on here
Okay.
for free.
Yep, you know,
So
I can talk a talk.
that's okay. I love it. And I
I
love
love
you.
you, and I'm so I don't know, I'm so grateful that I've had you in my life for all these years, all these 30 something years. And you know, sisters for life.
For life.
For life. There's my girl.
Hi,
Hi,
Hermione.
Bougie. This,
Uh,
this is my amuse bouche, which is a French word for a tiny little tasty treat. And
oh.
she's an amuse bouche. She's a tiny little tasty treat.